I just wanted to go over a few things. I now have a new website and a new name. My site is oldpennyrugs.com instead of early style penny rugs. Um, I wanted to go over exactly what's been happening. I've decided to retire a bit. Um, I just don't have the same feeling for my rug making as I did before. I am now in the process of getting rid of my wool that I've hoarded for the last 20, 25 years. My wool is old. I was very fortunate early on to find a good supplier of old blankets, and I took advantage of it. Every week, he would save them for me, and every week I would just go and pile the car as much as I could get in, and that's where these blankets came from. I have never, since I started making penny rugs, which was before the year 2000, I've never bought, purchased, or used new off the bolt wool, the type of wool that you would use for making rugs that you get for hooked rugs now. Um, so these blankets are early blankets. I'd say the latest of my blankets would be probably the 60s, very few of those. A lot of the army blankets, the medical blankets, the center seam blankets, just all different types. And some of them are thin, very thin, just like this one. This is one of the old plaid blankets that I'm using in the plaid rug kits. Some of them are very thick. This is one that's very thick and heavy. With these, I use them for specific purposes, specific design. Most of them are just the regular wool blankets. It's another one of the plaids. And I've hoarded plaids since I started and saving them because it's very difficult to find old plaid blankets, and the plaid tongue rug, you need a lot of different types of plaid. And when you cut plaids, they become a bit different. Aren't those nice? Those are some of the tongues that we've cut so far. I do have most of the blankets dyed. I think there was like 12 or 15 or 16, something like that. And most of them are dyed now, and a lot of them are cut. But oh my, isn't that nice? Um, when it comes out of the dye pot, which goes through multiple dye pots, at least two, if not three, for everything I make. Um, Here's another one, and this one. Look at this one. It had a oh, that's so nice. I'm going to leave that in. I'm going to cut that as a tongue and leave it in. And you have extra tongues, so if you don't want to use it, that's fine. But when it comes out of the dye pot, it has to have things picked off it. I'm continually picking things off this wool. And then it's pressed with a very hot steam iron, no pressing cloth. My iron is on a cotton setting. And then it's cut and it becomes these. Very nicely done. the thing I wanted to mention is my style of doing kits and doing rugs. Um, I've never patterned myself off someone else. I've found my own specific and unique way of dyeing the wool. I've done my own specific and unique way of making the designs. The the thing that I found out is it's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to take new wool and to make an old rug, to make a rug that looks old. So you do as much of the process before you even cut the design, before you even cut the wool. You try to make it as old as possible. These are some other blanket pieces that I have that has come out of the dye pot. So you try to age as much as possible. And my goal when I make a rug or I make a kit or I do a design is I would like the finished piece to be not only an old design but to look the age. So much so that if one of my rugs was taken to an antique dealer, it would give him a bit or her a bit of a challenge to date that rug. And in order to do that, you really have to have old, you have to age it, and you have to dye it to make it look old and faded. And the other thing with dyeing is in a specific design, I marry the colors, which means you can have all of these colors, but they all need to come from the same dye pot and have that same last overlay of color. Very, very slight color, but that everything matches. Everything goes together. Even if it's different colors, it goes together. And that really makes a difference. Look at this one. Is this not beautiful? Oh my goodness. I think it started that color because I did not have any dark colors when I did this pot. This was for pennies. This is going to be for pennies. I had a lady that I don't believe she is a moth. I believe she found me on Facebook and messaged about the pennies, and she wanted lighter pennies. Well, normally I don't make light pennies. I use mostly dark, washed out, older looking colors, especially in my penny rug type rugs. It would only be a specific design that would need light pennies, so I very seldom have that. This is about as light as it gets for me. And so I dyed this wool for a special order for her. But the plaid rugs are coming. A lot of them are cut, and I will do a specific video on that. And I do have a very good video on YouTube now that shows the construction and how to do it. But once my blankets, my plaid blankets are gone, then of course that kit's no more because honestly, I really don't think there would be any way that I could accumulate that many old plaid blankets now. You just don't find them. If you do, there's maybe one here and there or something like that, and you really need that good selection of different plaids, and these are not dyed. These are dyed. Aren't they nice? So I just wanted to say that, and I also wanted to mention that because my wool is old, it's going to have imperfections. It's going to have holes. It's going to have places where it was mended. It may even have damage from moths, and if if it does have that on it, I try and keep that for myself because that's very prized for me. The one thing that is very difficult to do is to show moth damage. And when you have a rug made and there is a few places where it's moth damage, that is a very telling sign that it's an old rug. And you just can't reproduce that. You can't get that look unless you actually have those little places. So I usually try and keep those for myself, but there may be, the odd one that goes through or something that I don't notice. But yes, and I like to keep the tags on the blankets. Um, I like to keep the places where it's mended. I like to keep that for myself, to do just one special particular type of rug. But that is what's coming. These are almost ready to go. And I will do another video on that. But I want to finish up with the pennies for now. And that will be another video. Those are ready to ship. And the Ma and Pa is ready to ship. And I'm trying to be very organized about the way I get rid of my wool. I'd like to get rid of all of my tweeds and plaids and all of those things. I have a lot of recycled old men's suits that I had to buy for Mrs. Brown's Boys, that pattern. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. So they will be coming soon. But for now, the big kit that's going to be after Ma and Pa and the pennies that I have on now will be these plaids. Very nice. The one thing that I do enjoy, I really enjoy, is my dyeing of my wool. I mean, when I put a light color in the dye pot, I mean, it was probably, I don't even have it, but it was an off-white blanket. This was an off-white blanket. All of these were the same blanket. They were off-white, and I'm really a white, like a cream color. And when I pull that out of the dryer, that is such a thrill. I love it. I absolutely love it. And to get all of these colors from just, oh, there it is. There. It was a Kenwood wool products. All virgin wool made in Canada. And it shows the ram. How nice. That was one complete blanket, and I just took little pieces of it, and I did use some acid dyes along with my regular natural dyes with this. But yes, absolutely. To get that color from that white blanket, I love it. So I do think that in the future, even though I'm not going to be doing kits, and there's another green. I'm not really partial to green though. although I'm not going to do kids, would still like to do something with dyeing, and I think perhaps that will be teaching. I will have courses on how I actually these, get these colors from a cream white Kenwood blanket. But that's in the future. Right now, I need to get rid of all these things that I have accumulated all these years, and they will be gradually on my website, oldpennyrugs.com, um, with a little bit on my blog there. I do have a blog on that website. A little bit about life and what's happening with me. So thank you everyone for listening to me rant today. Um, if there is any questions, just leave them in the comments on the channel and on the video, and I will be sure and get back to you there. If you are a moth and you are on my Facebook group, just put your questions there. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.